misspelled words, wasted time and paper. Say hello to Video Writer, the first word processor for the home that helps you write better. It erases mistakes on screen before they appear on paper. Do or undo. When you're proud of it, print it. Video Writer by Magnavox.
Lefferts, the new pitcher. Craig Lefferts, the leader in appearances in the National League, making his 72nd appearance. A 7-6 record with 3 saves and a 2.46 ERA. He's worked 95 innings this year. Walked 39, struck out 65, given up 78 base hits. Only 7 home runs. And he comes in with runners at first and second to face a pinch hitter.
And the pinch hitter, Gary Carter. And Carter in the first game was 0 for 2 with 2 runs batted in without a base hit. Got 1 in on a sacrifice fly. That was a game-winning RBI. And he got another when he walked with the bases loaded. And Carter now leads the National League in game-winning RBIs with 15. And he has a total of 94 runs batted in, trailing Dave Parker, who leads the National League with 104. So Carter, the pinch hitter, with runners at first and second, 1 man out. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And the first pitch is called strike.
Carter has not had an official at-bat as a pinch hitter this year.
Carter batting for the pitcher, Sid Fernandez. So Sid leads the ball game, and he has a chance to win it if the Mets can go in front here. And the off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Mets have 13 hits. As you look at the runners, Hearn and Magadan. 13 hits, and so far only 3 runs.
Consequently, they have left a few on base.
Yes. 8 through the first 4 innings. And they have 2 more base runners here in the 5th.
And a swing and a miss.
Gary reacting like he can't believe he missed this ball, and he didn't miss it by much.
Looked like he had it. He really had the timing on it, and then it sort of dropped out on him. A change of pace, screwball type pitch, and the count 1-2. And again, the pitch hit in the shallow center field. It drops in for a base hit. The throw to third base is in time. And Royster, the third baseman, making the tag when all he had to do was step on the bag. So Carter does not get a base hit, as it's a force play at third.
Gary hits it high in the air, and Marvell Wynn broke back. Now he comes in. Templeton, who has amazing range, almost gets to the ball. But Wynn, barehanding it on 1 hop, fires to Royster. And Royster, all he had to do was be standing on the bag. Ed Hearn at second had to hold up to see if the ball was caught. And now Ed, who would have been out by about 10 feet on the force play, is tagged out for the 3rd out. But it still is a force play, and Carter does not get a base hit. It goes as a fielder's choice. 8-5.
So runners still at first and second. 2 men away now. And the batter will be Len Dykstra. And Dykstra 2 for 3 in this game. Takes the first pitch, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dykstra's 2 hits have been bunt base hits. And he has scored twice. Still a 3-3 ball game. Check swing and a foul ball off to the third base side.
Dykstra ran initially, then he stopped, then he ran a little bit again, and then he stopped, all the time with bat in hand.
Well, that ball started to come back toward fair territory before it was picked up by Royster. He saw that happen. He says, I better get going. Mets have out hit the Padres 13-6. A tie ball game going at 3. Mets winning the first game 7-1. When they out hit the Padres 7-4. Gooden, the winning pitcher in the first game. And the foul ball out of play. Of the 4 base hits that the Padres got in the first game, 3 of them could have been charged as errors. They were questionable either way. I've never seen a hit given on a ball that went through Ray Knight's legs like that.
That was unbelievable. I agree. All 3 of those, other than Orge's pinch hit home run, of course, which accounted for the only run, really should have been scored.
Ground ball foul, the first base side. So the count stays at 1-2 on Dykstra. Mookie dropped the fly ball that he misjudged and then got his glove on. That was scored as a base hit. And the first hit of the ball game was a base hit, was a ball that was hit to Elster, the shortstop, and he couldn't get it out of his glove. Scored as a base hit. A legitimate hit, the home run by Dane Orge, his first pinch hit home run, his second home run of the season. And a ball call, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets have won 91 games and lost 44. Steve Burris's Padres have won 63, lost 73. And they're in last place, 4.5 games back of Houston, 14.5 games back of Houston. Mets 90th win, the earliest in their history, and of course their 91st the same. In '84, the Mets won 90 ball games. In '85, they won 98. This ball topped out. Good play by Lefferts as he took a possible base hit away from Dykstra, and that will end the inning. So Lefferts in relief gets his first 2. And the Mets leave 2. And the score, after 2 base hits, the New York Mets 3 and the San Diego Padres 3. Now here's a word from Budweiser.
This was for all that you do.
In the minors, you must have called it all 1,000 times, but you never lost sight of the dream.
I got a telegram for you, Tony.
Okay, thanks, Pop. Hi, babe. Hey, guess what? I got the call. Yeah? Lenny Majors.
You got a shot, you take it.
What's this, rookie umpire?
You got the heart to make it. You got the fire, that big league desire. You keep on reaching higher. You make America work, and this buzz for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood age for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers.
Hi. Compliments from the gentleman over there.
This buzz for you.
When you come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, relax.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot for your muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader. We'll fix your car the right way at the right price from $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Oh, I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
What's this package still doing here, Blemish?
The Air Express company was closed, sir.
Hold it. If you'd used Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. Federal has more service centers open late than anyone else.
I see.
So you can drop off a package, even if you're working late.
I see.
Next time, send it Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
See, Federal is open at this hour. You have no excuse whatsoever.
Well, the guy who had the most vested interest in what happened in that inning was Sid Fernandez, and this is his reaction to Dykstra grounding out to end the inning. Sid will now head for the showers as he stood around to see what happened. However, he will get another no decision.
And the new shortstop for the Mets is Rafael Santana. He'll bat in the 8th batting position. And the new pitcher for the Mets, Doug Sisk, and he will bat in the 9th batting position.
Doug's making his 34th appearance of the season. He's 3-2 with a 2.52 ERA. No saves. He's worked 60 2/3 innings, giving up 62 hits. He's walked 24, struck out 25. And Doug Sisk has not allowed a home run this year, and in fact has gone the longest of any pitcher in the National League without allowing a home run. And Tony Gwynn has his rally cap on here in this tie game.
When playing in this game, he leads the National League in hitting, or he might lead the National League in hitting, depending on what Tim Raines does today. Wynn in the first ball game did not have a base hit. 0 for 4. And now the batter Marvell Wynn takes a second pitch for ball 2. Wynn has walked and grounded out.
Sid Fernandez went 5 through a wild pitch, charged with 3 runs on 6 hits.
And a ball for ball 3. 3-0 to Marvell Wynn.
The White Sox have beaten Toronto, so with Boston's win, they now lead by 6.5 games. Boston shutting out Minnesota 9-0.
And Marvell Wynn walks in 4 pitches.
Well, it's sort of become a trademark of Doug Sisk and caused him to have to go down to Tidewater to start this season and get his act together, as he's been plagued by control problems his entire young career.
Really hasn't done a bad job since he's been back. He's 3-2 with an earned run average at 2.52. And he'll now pitch to Bip Roberts, who beat out a bunt for a base hit his last time up. Roberts 1 for 2. And Roberts taking for strike 1. And that's about hit the Padres 13-6. But the game is tied at 3. Fastball fouled off, strike 2. Fernandez, after striking out 14 to set a National League high for the year for a 9-inning ball game, struck out only 1 and working 5 innings here today. 14 strikeouts, his career high, and that was against San Francisco. Nolan Ryan struck out 14 batters in 9 1/3 innings. There are only 2 pitchers in the National League who have struck out 14 batters in a game. And a ground ball base hit as Roberts singles to left. The runner's now at first and second with no one out.
Bip Roberts, who had a bunt base hit his last time up, now 2 for 3.
And it will bring up Craig Lefferts, and he's in a bunting situation.
I like that sign a minute ago. They had changed the Sid sign, on which they add S's as Sid acquires strikeouts, taken a K from the K corner and turned it into Sisk. Very clever. There it is. Nicely done.
And the first try at the bunt is fouled off. Lefferts has been in more games than any pitcher in the National League, and he hasn't had a hit. He's 0 for 6.
The guy's been in 72 games and gotten 6 at bats. That's the plight of a relief pitcher.
And the pitch is down in the dirt. Hernandez could have caught it.
You're not kidding. If that ball had bounced off of Ed Hearn's chest protector, Keith Hernandez might have picked it up on the short hop. Look at Keith. He actually had to hesitate so he wouldn't get in the way of the pitch.
So it's 1-1.
At third base, Howard Johnson is playing in and near the line, but he's staying home as the Mets try to get that lead runner.
And it's bunted foul, and the count goes to 1-2. The Mets don't use the rotation play, and that's the shortstop covering third. The reason why they don't use it is the fact that Keith Hernandez is so good at fielding bunts.
Ed Hearn caught that one off of his bare hand as it hit the plate and came up. And it hit Eddie on the fingers, apparently, of his throwing hand.
This play takes a good fielding pitcher, though, if you don't use the rotation play, to pick up the out at third. And it's bunted foul, and Lefferts is out on strikes.
Well, Hernandez is just not only so good at charging, but at fielding and throwing. He has an outstanding throwing arm to go with all of his other abilities. And so he was hoping that Lefferts really would put that ball in play in front of the plate so that he could fire one over to Johnson at third and cut down the lead runner representing the go-ahead run.
Now we're going to have a pinch hitter for Royster. It's going to be Tim Flannery. Lefferts unhappy with his performance at the plate in that bunting situation.
And he would stand to benefit from that as the winning pitcher if he could help get that run home, and the Padres, of course, would hold on.
Flannery played second base in the first game of this doubleheader, and he was 0 for 4. He brought 11-game hitting streak into this series and was stopped yesterday.
Flannery as a pinch hitter is 3 for 15 with 3 pinch hit RBIs as part of that Timry Flanster combination of he and Royster platooning. Although Royster playing third base this game, they do often platoon at second.
So runners at first and second, tie ball game at 3, 1 man out. We're in the top of the 6th. And the first pitch for ball 1. Flannery with 4 hits this year against the Mets in 35 at bats. Play on at second, but not a good throw by Sisk. Santana had to make a good catch on it. Flannery's 11-game hitting streak, the longest this year for Tim Flannery. 1 ball, no strikes. And ball 2. Marvell Wynn, the runner at second base. Biff Roberts, the runner at first. And ball 3.
Well, one of the reasons why Doug Sisk has problems with control is the fact that his sinker has such movement on it that it makes it difficult to hit. It also makes it difficult at times for Sisk to keep it in the strike zone.
Ball 4 as you catch one of the Padres flossing.
That was Dane Orge, who had the home run in the first game.
So the walk loads up the bases.
Come on, Dane.
He's just doing his dental hygiene. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but can't you do that in the clubhouse? I mean, gee.
He's getting ready for a trip to San Francisco.
That's right. They got a long flight and 2 games tomorrow and Tuesday to finish their road trip in San Francisco.
There's one fellow that might run out of dental floss. So bases loaded in the batter, John Crook, and he hits it right back to Sisk, who can't handle it. He has a play at the plate, however, and he picks up the force play. Good recovery by Doug Sisk.
Well, John Crook, who's a free swinger, and the ball on Doug in a hurry, he didn't know where it was for a minute. I think he thought it was still in his glove initially and then realized it wasn't. But he had the presence of mind and the physical reactions to go get it. And a good play by Ed Hearn to catch the throw and keep his foot on the bag to get the force at home on Marvell Wynn.
And that'll bring up Kevin McReynolds now with 2 men out and the bases loaded, and the first pitch, ball 1. McReynolds 1 for 3 in the second game of the doubleheader, and 1 for 7 all day. And this one fouled off to the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reynolds jammed with that fastball, couldn't get around it. Runner at third base, Biff Roberts. Runner at second base is Tim Flannery, and the runner at first base is John Crook.
Well, those Astros again. just keep on going as they stretch that league out. They now lead Cincinnati by 8 full games as the Reds were pounded by Chicago today, 11-3.
Houston has won 22 games in their last at bat this year. A 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled. And the fastball fouled off.
And the Mets have been an outstanding late inning team as well. So if in fact it is a New York-Houston National League Championship Series, it turned out to be some very exciting games.
And those St. Louis Cardinals are something else. 2-2, going from first place to a dismal 1986 season. 22.5 games back of the Mets at the start of the action this ball game today. They're now at 500 ball. And did he swing? No, says first base umpire Steve Ripley. So it goes to 3-2. And as Lindsey Nelson used to say, the carousel will be turning.
It's merry-go-round time. Bases loaded, 3-2 and 2 out.
All the runners in motion. The runner at third base runs out via the dugout. He gets completely out of range of the hitter. And it's ball 4, and Sisk has walked in a run, and the Padres lead 4-3. 3 walks in the inning by Doug Sisk.
McReynolds picks up his 76th RBI. Doug Sisk has given up just 1 base hit in this inning and has pitched now to 6 batters as he has walked 3 of them.
So the Padres leading 4-3. They still have the bases loaded, and the batter will be Carmelo Martinez. He is the scheduled batter, but it looks like they're going for a pinch hitter, and it's going to be a big one.
Carmelo Martinez.
Tony Gwynn will be the pinch hitter.
Tony Gwynn.
Gwynn at the start of the action today, leading all batters in hitting in the National League. Batting .336. Tim Raines at .333. He also leads in hits with 180. He leads in runs scored with 87, and he also is way up there in on-base percentage with .388. That puts him in 4th place. So a very dangerous hitter, and Tony Gwynn coming up. Gwynn with 2 home runs against the Mets, hitting near 400 against the Mets this year with 19 hits and 45 at-bats.
Tony Gwynn does not have an official at-bat as a pinch hitter this year. And there is his updated average. .334.
Still leads the National League. If Tim Raines didn't pick up any points, Raines coming in at .333. And the first pitch, strike 1. Ground ball to the first baseman, Keith Hernandez. He tosses off the Sisk, and that'll do it. But the Padres get a run on only 1 base hit. They leave 3. And the score at the end of 5.5 innings, the Padres 4, the Mets 3. Now here's a word from Ivory.
Hitting home runs is the fun part of my job. Catching is the tough part, the sweaty part. But you won't catch me showering with deodorant soap. I made a break from all that. A clean break with Ivory. Look, that's basic, natural, honest soap. Not like soaps that cover you with smelly perfumes or deodorants. What's that got to do with clean? Ivory's clean is an honest clean. You can smell it, you can feel it.
Make a clean break, because you just can't beat Ivory's Honest Clean.
Even when you got a special date.
What does your middle market company need to reach the top? A business finance group second to none. One with over 100 offices nationwide, who knows your markets and can help in a hurry. A group with nearly 80 years experience and the widest choice of asset-based financing products. The CIT Group, dedicated to helping you scale the heights. The CIT Group, first in business finance. A company of Manufacturers Hanover.
The black Cadillac, please. Right away, sir.
Excuse me. I believe that's my Buick.
Today, it's not easy to distinguish yourself from the crowd.
Is this my Cadillac?
No, it's an Oldsmobile. I think.
The Lincoln Town Car, please.
Yes, sir.
But the Lincoln Town Car stands apart. And whether you choose it for its unparalleled spaciousness or graceful ride, you'll know there's nothing like a Lincoln.
No one will ever believe it.
Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
When it comes to cherry colas, there are losers and there are winners. Introducing Cherry RC, and it's a winner.
Changes for the Padres. Tony Gwynn stays in the ball game, takes over in right field. John Crook, the right fielder, moves to first base with Martinez out of the ball game. Flannery taking over for Royster will go to third base as he was a pinch hitter for Royster. And for the Mets, it'll be Wally Backman, the leadoff. The Padres leading 4-3. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Mets winning the first game 7-1. Backman perfect on the day. 3 for 3, all as a left-hand batter. Now batting from the right-hand side for the first time against Craig Lefferts, who came in the ball game in the 5th inning. And Backman holds up on the first pitch. It's ball 1.
Wally has been swinging the bat better from the right side lately, and maybe even better lately than at any time previously in his career.
And that's his natural side. He's hitting 225 right-handed. And came into the doubleheader hitting 341 left-handed.
Check out that stat right there. This has been a weird game.
And it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
Mets have 13 hits, only 3 runs, and trail in the ball game.
Mets have left him in on base through 5 innings. And ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Lefferts with a record of 7-6 and 3 saves, a chance to be 8-6 now, as he's the beneficiary of the run scored by the Padres when they took the lead 4-3. This is his 72nd game, and he walks Backman on 4 pitches. That puts a time run at first with no one out and brings up Keith Hernandez. Keith has singled twice and walked. He has driven in 2 runs. Keith now with 72 RBIs.
Backman's 3 for 3 with a walk. Hernandez is 2 for 2 plus a walk. Just about everybody in the Mets lineup has a base hit. And most guys have been on base more than once.
Every position but the pitcher has racked up a base hit. Every position in the batting order. Using a pinch hitter in that instance. A hit and run play, a late throw down to second, and Backman beats the throw as Bochy comes out and does not get the ball away in a hurry. Tough pitch to handle. Keith trying to get his bat on the ball.
This is throwing your bat at the ball right here. Hernandez trying to protect, even though the pitch is way outside. Backman picks up his 2nd stolen base of the game, his 12th of the year. Wally with a bubble in his mouth halfway down to second. The Mets' 3rd stolen base here in game 2.
And the count of strike 1 on Keith Hernandez, and the breaking ball for ball 1. Here are the hits by innings.
Now, if you just looked at that, you'd find it hard to believe that, first of all, the Mets have scored only 3 runs, and secondly, they're behind in the game.
That started this doubleheader as the #1 hitting team with a team average of 264. The Padres second to the Mets at 260. 2-1 the count to Keith Hernandez. And he boots it in the left field for a base hit. Backman hesitates, but then moves on. And he comes in to score the tying run. And for the second time in this game, Keith has tied it up. He also put the Mets in front with a base hit his first time up.
Hernandez 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And a walk, so he's been on base, as has Backman, all 4 at-bats. This is a little serve shot. A little lob over your opponent's head. Right in between McReynolds, the left fielder, and Templeton, the shortstop. Backman scores his second run of the game. And Hernandez just keeps on rolling.
And Steve Boris trying to figure it out. And here's Darryl Strawberry, grounds it to the second baseman Roberts, who comes up with it. And Darryl out as Hernandez moves down to second. Strawberry with an infield hit his last time up, broke an 0 for 21 streak, and he had been 47 times without a base hit here at Shea Stadium. So he grounds out, and it brings up Danny Heap. Danny 1 for 3 in the game. Singled in the first inning, and on that play, Keith Hernandez was thrown out at the plate.
.29 RBIs in the last 31 games, and Hernandez has hit in 28 of those 31 games on top of the RBI total.
So the go-ahead run at second base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th, and Danny Heap takes for ball 1. And there's ball 2. Danny doing a great job as a starting player, filling in, and he fouls off the fastball on the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Bob Stoddard and Gene Walter throwing in the bullpen for the Padres. Walter, the left-hander. On deck batter for the Mets, Howard Johnson. And ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Lefferts came in the game in the 5th inning, picked up 2 big outs, and has given up a run here in the 6th. Missed the fastball to count 3-2.
Danny's last time up was with the bases loaded and only 1 out in the 4th inning, and he hit a sharp 1-hopper to third base that was turned into a 5-4-3 double play.
3-2 pitch, ball 4, and that puts runners at first and second. Second walk in the inning by Lefferts. Steve Boris.
And in the background, you could see Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, on the phone to the bullpen, finding out what's going on out there.
Howard Johnson, the batter, and Howard batting from the right-hand side for the first time. Howard in this game 1 for 3, batting left-handed. Johnson, a .262 hitter left-handed and a .182 hitter right-handed. And another one out of the strike zone for ball 1.
Lefferts has had some control problems. He does not have a good walk-to-strikeout ratio. He's walked 2 in this ball game and a total of 41 in 96 innings of work, and he has struck out just 65 to go with those 41 walks.
So the count, 1 ball, no strikes on Howard Johnson. Johnson with 7 hits and 20 at-bats against the Padres this season with 1 RBI. And this ball hit foul, and the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. If the Mets can win this ball game, their magic number will be 6. Any combination of Met wins or Philly losses, the total 6 gives the Mets a pennant. And the off-speed pitch for ball 2, 2-1.
You think Howard Johnson has enough pine tar on that bat handle? He must have to order those thinner than he wants them, because he's got a ½ inch of pine tar on that baby. Greg Nettles.
And ball 3, 3-1. If the Mets can win this ball game, they will have tied their road record. On the road, they won 46 and lost 22. They're 45 and 22 at home. And there's ball 4, and that will load them up. So 3 walks in the inning as Lefferts duplicates Doug Sith's performance in his last half inning. That might do it. Here comes Steve Boris, and there goes the sign. He wants a new pitcher in the ball game. And we'll be back right after this word from Meineke Mufflers.
When you come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, relax.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot for your muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader. We'll fix your car the right way at the right price from $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Oh, I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
Hey, Mets fans, I'm Mary Hart.
And I'm John Tesh with Entertainment Tonight's latest headlines.
There's a great new hard-hitting lineup this fall on WOR TV.
You mean Strawberry and Hernandez?
No. I mean the $100,000 Pyramid at 7 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30, followed by News 9 Prime Time.
That's right. Not only will the Mets bring it home this fall, but so will Entertainment Tonight and News 9 Prime Time.
So don't forget to join us beginning this Monday at 7:30 for Entertainment Tonight.
Right here on WOR TV, Channel 9.
Bob Stoddard, the new pitcher for the Padres. Bob was in the first game of this doubleheader. He has a record of 1-0 and a earned run average of 3.09 with 1 save. This is his 8th ball game. And he comes in with the bases loaded. And Stoddard in that first ball game worked 2 innings, gave up no runs, allowed no hits, struck out 1 and walked none. Pitched to 6 batters, got them all. So the Mets with the bases loaded, and the batter will be Ed Hearn. As the Mets have tied up the ball game on the base hit by Keith Hernandez here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Is he practicing his Rocky imitation? I guess he is. We're hearing a little Rocky music here. And make sure to catch the Mets when they bring it home to Shea on Tuesday night this coming week. That's our next Mets telecast. 7:30 Eastern Time as they take on the Montreal Expos. Something spectacular is going on Channel 9. Now he's punching the other guy.
Whoops.
He thinks he's Rocky. Music got him fired up.
So Ed Hearn steps in with the bases loaded. Tie ball game at 4, 1 man out. Hearn in this game has walked and singled twice. Stoddard showed some pretty good stuff when he came in the ball game in the first game of this doubleheader, won by the Mets 7-1. He pitched to 6 batters, got them all.
And Randy Neiman is starting to throw in the Mets bullpen. Stoddard made a nice contrast to starter Dave LaPointe as he throws hard. LaPointe does not.
And he tries a slider and misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Bob Stoddard brought up when Goose Gossage was put on the suspended list. Padres have only 24 men on their roster. They could have 40. They have not brought up any minor leaguers other than Stoddard. And they brought him up to fill out the roster. And there's ball 3. So it's 3-0 with the bases loaded. And the ball game tied at 4.
Home plate umpire Dave Pallone asking for the baseball. Manager Steve Burrows checks out his lineup card.
Bases loaded. 3-0 count to Ed Hearn. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th inning. And Stoddard's pitch. Ball 4, and the Mets take the lead as Hearn is walked and Hernandez is forced in. So the 4th walk in the inning for the Mets.
Steve Burrows with absolutely no reaction. At least no visible reaction. You never know what's going on inside. But he's seen about everything this year, particularly in the second half, as the Padres have gone down like a rock since the All-Star break.
They were 3 games back at the All-Star break, and starting this ball game, the Padres were 14.5 out.
Dead last in the West.
And the batter now is Rafael Santana, batting for the first time, and he gets the first pitch called a strike. Santana with an ear infection did not play in the first ball game. This is his first at bat, batting .219 for the year. And there's a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Bob Stoddard. And in the bullpen for the Mets, Randy Neiman and Roger McDowell. The Mets leading 5-4. Probably look for McDowell. And that pitch is out of the strike zone. The curveball, it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Rafael Santana has hit in 9 of his last 10 games, hitting .400 over that period of time. A career-high 9-game hitting streak was stopped on Wednesday against San Francisco.
A 2-1 pitch, strike call, and it's 2-2. Stoddard, the 3rd pitcher used by Steve Boris. As you look at Doug Sisk in the on-deck circle, he won't bat. And a pitch that is low, and it's again a 3-2 count. So 3-2, bases loaded. Mets leading 5-4. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th. Danny Heap, Howard Johnson, and Ed Hearn are on the bases. And it's chopped out to short. Ground ball to the shortstop as they pick up the force play. Heap scores from 3rd. The Mets now lead 6-4. So Santana gets a run batted in as they can't make the double play.
And a good job by Ed Hearn to make sure that Biff Roberts was unable to complete the double play. It would have been a tough double play as the ball is not that sharply hit as Santana pounds it right down in front of the ground. But watch Hearn. He just makes sure. See you later, Biff.
And that'll bring up Lee Mazzilli as a pinch hitter. Santana at first base. And over at 3rd base, Howard Johnson. And the pinch hitter Lee Mazzilli stepping in. The catcher putting on the tools of ignorance as Mazzilli steps up with a .222 average, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. Mazzilli as a pinch hitter with 6 hits and 45 at bats. He has driven in 4. And Stoddard misses with a fastball.
Mazzilli played first base in the first game of the doubleheader. Went 1 for 4.
He's 1 for 5 in the series. And ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Mets have had 4 walks in the inning and just 1 base hit. And they have scored 3 runs. They had 5 hits in the first inning and scored 2 runs. And it's ball 3. So Mazzilli with a 3-0 count as Steve Morris seems bored with the whole thing.
So he has to be wondering what can happen next. How are we going to lose today?
And Lee pops up the 3-0 pitch, and it's playable. Templeton puts it away, and that'll do it. In the inning, the Mets get 3 runs on 1 hit. There were 4 walks, and 2 men were left on base. And the score at the end of 6 innings of play, it's the Mets 6 and the Padres 4. Coming in now with Steve Zabriskie is Tim McCarver. But right now, here's a word from Michelob Light.
Who says you can't have old world taste and a new world waste? Old world aging and the new world's youthful spirit. Europe's finest hops in America's finest light beer. Michelob Light. Old world quality from Anheuser-Busch. Michelob Light. The best of both worlds.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can have it all.
This is one of the world's most expensive motor oils. It meets or exceeds industry standards for protection against wear. So does Haviland. This oil can cost more than twice as much as Haviland. Twice as much?
That's right, twice as much.
Texaco's Haviland Supreme, high-quality protection without the high price. Strike Black Gold. Now save up to $3 on Texaco's Haviland Supreme motor oil. On special sale at these stores on participating Texaco retailers.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Really? Yes.
It's Yes Month at Nissan, and your Nissan dealer's making great deals on new trucks. He's saying
yes
to 5.7 Nissan-sponsored financing, so you could save up to $829 on our lowest sticker-priced regular bed, up to $1,980 on this King Cab SE 4x4 with V6 power.
Yes.
Or save with $500 cash back from Nissan.
So see your Nissan dealer, because he's going to say yes.
The name is Nissan.
Well, we're going to the 7th inning, and at the end of the 6th inning, the Mets scoring 3 to take a 6-4 lead. Bob Stoddard, upset with himself, goes in and pounds that glove on the bench. Earlier in the first game, Gene Walter, in a similar situation, started to do that, but thought better of it. And Roger McDowell is on in relief, the 3rd pitcher for the afternoon. And here in this 2nd game for the Mets, relief of Doug Sisk. Roger making his 64th appearance with a 13-7 record and 18 saves. He's worked 109 2/3 innings, walked just 33, struck out 59. And Roger McDowell has allowed just 2 home runs in those 90-plus innings of work, as Bob Stoddard is still a little animated. 6-4 New York as we go to the 7th, and back in. Here's Tim McCarver.
All right, Steve, thanks a lot. And Bruce Bochy leads it off. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Bochy on the long afternoon is 0 for 3. Not playing game 1, 0 for 3 in this game. 6-4, New York leading. Ball 1 to Bruce.
Doug Sisk pitched 1 inning for New York, gave up a run on 1 hit. He struck out 1, and he walked 3. Watch out. When we were in Boston for the exhibition game, our partner Ralph Kiner caught one on the knee. That one went over his head into the green seats, thankfully.
Ralph bounced back, though.
Yes, he did. The ball bounced off his knee, and then Ralph bounced back.
Fastball is outside, 2-1. You know, Bochy just fouled one off McDowell, and that's something you don't see too often against Roger. Foul balls that are the antithesis of Gooden and Fernandez. You do see a lot of ground balls. That's what Bochy hit. 1 away here in the 7th, and Gary Templeton, the batter.
Now batting, shortstop, Gary Templeton.
Tempe 1 for 3 in this ball game. He was 1 for 3 in game 1. Padres, what do they have to look forward to after a possible doubleheader loss? 5-hour trip to San Francisco. Wow, talk about a long day. 1-0.
Going to be a short night. The one advantage they do have is a 3-hour time change in their favor.
Ground ball, base hit, left field. So Templeton picks up his second hit of the ball game. That's hit number 8 for the Padres.
The next batter, center fielder,
And here's Marvell Wynn, who is 0 for 1. He's walked a couple of times and grounded to second. Strike one.
We were talking earlier about the movement that Doug Sisk has on his pitches. This is another guy whose pitches have some pretty heavy movement on them.
Slider lined foul, 0-2. Sisk throws the heaviest ball on the Mets staff. Bruce Barini and Sisk shared that ignominious title before Barini was sent down. And Marvell Wynn is called out on strikes.
Roger McDowell with some downward movement on this pitch, but usually he throws that sinker that breaks out of the strike zone. This ball broke right through the strike
second baseman.
I guess one of the best definitions of a heavy ball is one that has obvious movement but no rotation. And when you catch it, when you catch it or hit it, there's a thud. There's no sweet click off the bat.
It's dead instead of live. Those are the guys you call on when you have a new catcher's mitt and you want to break it in.
Another base hit for Bip Roberts, his third of the ball game. So Roberts at first. It is just amazing how many men have been left on base in this ball game. The Mets have stranded 12. The Padres have stranded 9, and they have 2 on here in the 7th. Might have to send me to the book.
Well, they're going to send Greg Nettles to the plate.
All right.
Your attention, please.
Nettles hitting .213 with 16 homers and 47 RBIs at the start of play today. He did play in the first game. He went 0 for 2 and walked twice. As a pinch hitter this season, Nettles 4 for 16. He does have a pinch hit RBI, or rather a pinch hit home run, and 3 pinch hit RBIs.
So Greg Nettles pinch hitting for pitcher Bob Stoddard. Greg in game 1, 0 for 2, and he walked 2 times. 6-4, Mets on top. Slider is outside and low. Fly ball left field. Danny Heath is back, and he makes the catch. So McDowell, a little trouble here in the 7th, but the Padres go down. They again strand 2 runners. Neither side has been retired in order in this second game of the doubleheader. It's 6-4 New York, and we'll be back after this word from Pontiac.
Now, it's easier than ever to get one of Pontiac's great ones with the big one. As low as 2.9 annual percentage rate GMAC financing on any new 1986 Pontiac. Or big cash rebates of up to $750 depending on the great one you choose. 2.9 or cash back. And that's on any new 1986 Pontiac. But hurry, you must take delivery by October 8th or you can kiss this big one bye-bye.
See your Team New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Pontiac dealer.
If you've always dreamed of being in the big leagues, live that fantasy next February. Play with and against former Mets at Dream Week in St. Petersburg, Florida.
This was the most fantastic week I've ever spent anywhere.
wish I could stay here forever.
It was a dream come true. For information, call 718-507-METS.
Well, Dream Week is great fun, and I'll be there. And you can be a part of some more great fun. A September to remember as the Mets conclude their homestand against the Montreal Expos with games tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. All games then begin at 7:35, and all 3 games are Pennant Fever Pennant nights. The Mets will return home to take on the Chicago Cubs for games on Wednesday, the 17th of September at 7:30, and then Thursday, the 18th at 1:30. And both those games are Pennant Fever Pennant games as well. After the Cubs, the Phillies come on in here. Friday, the 19th at 7:30. It's also a Pennant Fever Pennant night. And then Saturday, the 20th at 7 o'clock. And Sunday, September 21st at 1:30. Purolator Courier's Ski Cap Day for all fans. And remember, get your tickets early, and if you can at all, come to the park early and take public transportation when possible.
All right, Steve, and the left-handed pitcher in the ball game now, Gene Walter, a 2-2 record. Rather high ERA, especially for a reliever. And this is Gene's 52nd appearance of the year. Gene Walter. Gene, the 4th pitcher in this game. And the batter to lead it off against Gene Walter is Len Dykstra. Dykstra with a couple of bunt hits and 4 trips. Swing and a miss at the slider. We have checked on the men left on base. The major league record for a 9-inning game is 30. There have been 23 left on base by both clubs so far in the 2nd game of the doubleheader.
12 by the Mets and 11 by the Padres.
Certainly within reach.
3 innings to go.
The record for most left on base by one team, the Boston Red Sox, 1956, left 20 on base. About a long day. Wow. 20.
Well, California beat the Yankees 7-2. They now lead the Texas Rangers in the American League West by 7 games. So the divisional leaders are flexing their muscles here this weekend.
Fastball inside to Dykstra. 3-2 to Lenny. So Dykstra is on there.
That is the 7th walk issued by San Diego pitching in this ball game, and the 3rd time Dykstra's been on base in 5 appearances.
Wally Backman has had a spectacular 2nd game. He's scored 2 runs. He's 3 for 3. He's been on base all 4 times. He's walked and stolen 2 bases. Not much more he can do, huh?
Unless he wants to hit a home run. He hasn't hit one yet this year.
And he's bunting. And it's a good one. John Kruk tags Backman. Sacrifice successful.
Well, the Mets want to see if they can't get that 3rd run, meaning a 3-run lead, because it makes a whole lot of difference in the opponent bringing that tying run to the plate when you have a 3-run lead as opposed to a 2-run lead. Look at John Kruk. He tags Backman about 4 times while he's looking down at Dykstra at second. He's in the game, whether he's at the plate or in the field.
It appears the Padres are going to pitch to Hernandez. And with Strawberry and Danny Heap coming up, you wonder why. Padres trail by 2. Fastball outside to Keith.
Hernandez has driven in 3 runs with 3 hits. He has also walked. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. for them to pitch to him.
Really unnecessary. It's 2-0 to Keith Hernandez. Hernandez batting 30 points higher as a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher, too. Good cut. He fouls it back. Well, the Mets winning another one. And there's only one thing better than a Mets win, and that's celebrating that win with an ice-cold Budweiser. Mets fans, this Bud's for you. Fastball is tight, 3-1. You see Hernandez looking over at Boris just to check him out. A lot of times you see a manager telling the catcher to pitch around the guy.
Now that the count is 3-1, Hernandez thinking that might be more of a thing.
And that's what happened. Second walk issued by Gene Walter, and the batter Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry with an infield hit in the fourth to break an 0 for 47 streak here at Shea Stadium.
He's now 1 for his last 49 at bats at Shea.
Swing and a miss, 0-1. Caught the inside corner, so it's 0-2 to Strawberry. Got a piece of the slider, still 0-2. Long afternoon of baseball, and a successful one for Mets fans and Met players alike. They won game 1 7-1, and they lead in this one 6-4. A juggernaut Frank Cashin has put together. Ball 1. 1-2 to Strawberry.
And when you consider the fact that the Mets players individually, and there's Frank Cashin with his wife Jean to the left of your screen there. Really none of the Mets players are having what you'd call career years.
Nope. Ground ball, beautiful play by Kruk, and he throws Strawberry out. Boy, Darryl Strawberry in the throes of not being able to do anything right with that bat. He's now 1 for his last 50. What a play.
Kruk, who is ordinarily an outfielder for San Diego, making a very good play, and things like this happen when you're in a slump.
Yeah,
you
that's
finally
so true.
hit a ball well in a place where it ought to get through, and somebody makes a good play on you, or you hit them right at people.
Right before the Mets, as a matter of fact, Steve, since you brought that up, right before the Mets took off for the West Coast, Darryl Strawberry lined into, out of about 20 at-bats, about 8 or 9 times he hit the ball hard. And something like that, you can get so desperate in a situation like that, you start tightening up, pincing up, pressing. He went away from Shea and had the good coast trip, and now he's right back into that funk since returning to Shea. Galen Cisco is going to talk to Gene Walter.
Galen Cisco's been on the mound almost as much as some of the San Diego pitchers today.
I was thinking the same thing. Gosh.
Well, a play by John Kruk really kept the game intact, at least temporarily, for San Diego, because the Mets leading just by 2. And if you go back to the first inning, this game has been extremely unusual. 1-run score, or 2-run scoring on 5 hits, and then 1 run in the 4th inning on 4 hits. This has not been your normal bill of fare.
Fastball is up and in, so it's 2-0 to Danny Heap. Speaking of bills of fare, I am starving.
It has been a while since we ate.
Wow. Reminds me of that 2 12-inning game Banner Day doubleheader in 1983 we did, and Ralph was up at Cooperstown. As you see the runners, Dykstra and Hernandez 2 out here in the 7th.
About 9 straight hours on the air.
There's a strike, 3-1 to Danny Heap.
It could be like our compadre Harry Carey in Chicago, who, holy cow, who shames restaurants into bringing him food on the air.
Well, the fastball loses Heap. Padre pitchers have walked 6 the last 2 innings. They've walked 8 in this ball game, and everybody has contributed.
That's the 3rd walk here in the inning by Walter.
Howard Johnson, the batter. He is 1 for 3 with a base on balls. Line to foul. Home run in a round park.
You see Howard Johnson do this a lot, both from the right side and the left side. He is a dead fastball hitter, and he sets himself up for a fastball swing. And again, I've got to make note of the amount of pine tar on the handle of that bat.
It's like a factory. Fastball is low, 1-1.
There's no rule that says you can't put a half a ton of pine tar on the bat, as long as you don't go up past the area where you're not supposed to have any. But Howard must order a very thin-handled bat and then build it up to where he likes it with pine tar.
Well, of course, that rule is not thought of nearly as much since the pine tar incident when Brett hit the home run. Speaking of 83, that was at the stadium, Yankee Stadium in 1983. The Royals against the Yankees. It's 1-2 to Howard Johnson.
One thing that pine tar will do, it'll strengthen the handle of that bat. Less likely to break it.
Fastball outside and low. 2-2 to Howard Johnson. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Mets up by 2. They won game 1 7-1 behind Dwight Gooden. Fly ball center field. Win in and now back. This has been a remarkable ball game. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 3 left. Both teams are now 4 shy of tying the major league record for most men left on base. It's 6-4 Mets after 7. We'll be back after this word from Budweiser.
This Bud's for all that you do.
They said this city was through. You said, no way.
Each day the spirit's growing. Your pride is really showing. You are the power, the man of the hour. You've really got things going. You make America work, and this Bud's for you. For everything you do, America calls on guys like you. 'Cause you make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood aged, for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers.
You make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Well, what I can offer you, Jim, is a deal where we'll deliver a month earlier.
I see. A client that feels neglected.
I really don't think that's possible, now.
Can give you the cold shoulder. Next time, stay in touch. With New York Telephone's low regional calling area rates, you can make your regular sales calls and that extra call.
I'm glad you called.
You'll find a much warmer reception. New York works on New York Telephone.
Cats, the #1 musical in America. The world's most thrilling theatrical event. Cats at the Winter Garden Theater. Call 239-6200 for tickets.
Well, as Ralph Kiner would say, what do you say about Lindsey Nelson? The carousel continues. It has been a carousel of base runners in Game 2 of this doubleheader. 26 have been stranded, 4 shy of the Major League record. Tim Flannery leads it off here in the 8th. It's only a 6-4 game.
The Mets have left 15 men on base now, and that ties the team record for New York, set on May 10th, 1984. They have done that 10 times. Last time, rather, was May 10th of 84.
Ball 3 to Flannery.
And the ball took Ed Hearn's catcher's mitt right out of his hand. That's a heavy ball.
It's 3-0 to Flannery. 14 hits for the Mets, 9 for the Padres, but base runners all over the place. 3-1.
Andy Hawkins reading the stat sheet.
Typical stat sheet in the 8th inning of after 7 hours of baseball. Ground ball to shortstop, a high hop for Santana, and he throws out Flannery. Stat sheet looked like it gone through the ringer.
In addition to the total of 26 left on base, there have been a total of 15 walks issued in this game. 9 by the Padre pitchers and 6 by New York pitchers.
That total of walks nowhere near the record in the National League. The record, 26 bases on balls in a 9-inning game, and it happened as recently as 1975. Ground ball to second, and Backman throws out Crook. 2 out here in the 8th. Neither side has gone in order in this ball game.
I would love to be privy to some of those conversations John Crook has with himself.
Only John knows. He is a beauty. And a good hitter. And a good outfielder. And has shown a pretty good first base glove, too.
And a fine play.
Kevin McReynolds is 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. He walked with the bases loaded in the 6th to give the Padres a 4-3 lead. Then the Mets responded with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1.
John ready to go back out there. If the Padres were to come back and win this game, his play at first base would turn out to be the play of the game.
Saved 1 run for sure in the bottom of the 7th, and probably 2. It's 1-2 to Kevin McReynolds. Ball 2. It just missed. 2-2. 2-2, 2 outs. The Mets up by 2. 2 tired announcers in the booth.
And the 40,000 that were here at 1 o'clock down to about maybe 10 or 15.
Well, that's the first time, the very first time that either side has gone in order. Strikeout number 2 for McDowell. And after 7.5, it's 6-4 New York, and we'll be back after this word from the good old guys.
Every 3 years, I steal a new Olds. Yeah. I wait till my dealer has to make room for next year's cars. Oh, he's loaded with Delta 88s. Now I pounce. Say, Jack.
Hello, Sam.
You sure are loaded with 88s.
Factory shipped them late.
Would you take this much for that, baby?
You waited me out again, Sam.
Get a Delta 88 or any 86 Olds for a special cleanup price.
Sam strikes again.
From your good old guy.
This summer, people have been drinking ice-cold Gatorade Thirst Quencher more than ever. So much more that Gatorade people have trouble keeping bottles on the shelf. But that doesn't mean there isn't any Gatorade. Because Gatorade is an instant powder, too. One canister makes 8 full quarts of ice-cold, refreshing Gatorade. And it also comes in 12-ounce cans. So if you can't find a bottle,
Gatorade is thirsty.
grab a canister or can.
For that deep down body thirst.
When an urgent package leaves your hands, make sure the hands you leave it in can deliver. Express Mail overnight service from your post office delivers over city, over state, overnight, over whatever stands in the way. Over 97% of the time and climbing. For about half what most others charge. £2, just $10.75. Express Mail overnight service. When we say overnight, we mean overnight.
The first game of the doubleheader won by the Mets 7-1, rather orthodox. Game 2 has been anything but orthodox. A very wacky, unusual game with 26 runners left on base. The Mets leading 6-4 here in the bottom of the 8th, and here's Steve.
Thanks, Tim. Ed Hearn to lead it off, bottom of the order for the Mets. Against Gene Walter, the 4th pitcher of the 2nd game for the Padres. Ball low. That's amazing. And very few of them have done anything but get stranded there. 1-1 to Hearn. Ed's had a pretty good game. He's 2 for 2, 2 walks, picked up an RBI with a bases loaded walk in the 6th inning. And continues to do a very good job whenever he is called upon to fill in for Gary Carter. 2-1. We've had 25 hits in the game, 15 walks, 26 left on.
And nobody left out.
And 2-2. Yeah, between the 2 games, just about everybody on each bench, with the exception of some pitchers, has been in this game, or these games. And Hearn cannot hold up, and he is struck out. First strikeout for Walter.
Ed tried to hold up. Just couldn't.
So here's Rafael Santana, who reached on a fielder's choice in the 6th inning, but credited with an RBI as the Padres got the force at second, but were unable to complete the double play, and a run scored. Ball 1. Mets trying to sweep their 3rd doubleheader of the year. This is the 8th that they have played. Line drive snared by Templeton, 2 away. And here's Roger McDowell for an infrequent at bat. 5 for 16, however, is not too shabby. Roger, just a fine athlete. He can do it all. Hit, run, field. He can play a number of different positions on the field. And what a year he's having with 13 wins and 18 saves. And he hits it well to right field. Tony Gwynn, however, makes the play, and an easy 1-2-3 inning in the 8th for Gene Walter. So we go to the 9th inning. Game 2 of a long day of baseball, 6-4 in New York. After this, we're AT&T.
I found a long-distance phone company with discounts when it's convenient for me to call.
I discovered one that lets me call anywhere, state to state, for one low hourly rate.
I found a long-distance company that can save me over 50%.
Who are they talking about? Who else? AT&T, the company that helps make your long-distance dollars go farther. With services you can count on. AT&T Long Distance for over 100 years. When you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way. AT&T, the right choice.
Dad, help me get in shape. I feel like I've lost the edge.
You've lost the edge?
Everybody's got a diet right. It doesn't matter who you are. It's gonna be a tough fight. So give yourself the greatest taste.
I bet you didn't know the diet right has no salt. Technically speaking, Dad, it's sodium. I've been avoiding salt myself for 4 or 5 years now. Furthermore, I like the way diet right.
miss the turn?
No, sweetheart, we didn't miss a turn.
You all right?
There are a lot of new healthcare plans around today that say they'll give you comprehensive coverage and eliminate complicated paperwork. But the new plan from Blue Cross and Blue Shield gives you these benefits and the security of 50 years of experience.
Okay, fine. Go right in.
And that can really take a bundle off your mind.
Ninth inning, and the remaining fans will have an opportunity to see if Roger McDowell can slam the door on the Padres. Roger trying to pick up save number 19. Doug Sisk would be the winning pitcher as Sid Fernandez left with a no decision and a 3-3 tie at the time. Tony Gwynn batting for the second time after grounding to first his first time up to end the 6th inning. Gwynn battling with Tim Raines of Montreal for the National League batting title. Started the day at 336. He was 0 for 4 in the first game, so he's 0 for 5 on the day. Strike one.
When Tony pinch hit for Martinez in the 6th inning, Doug Sisk recorded a very big out that held the Padres to just 1 run in the top of the 6th when they took the lead.
Breaking ball, and Santana flags it down and throws him out. Wow. What a play by Rafael Santana, who was not in the lineup because he's been suffering from a punctured eardrum.
Santana catches this ball behind him. Watch. Well, that is a tough, tough play to get Tony Gwynn by a step. See, he catches that ball behind him. Now he rearranges the position of his feet to just nip the win. Fine play by Santana.
Man, that's the defensive highlight of this game. And Terry Kennedy's going to pinch hit for Bruce Bochy. Kennedy started the first game and went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He's had 1 hit in 31 at-bats against the Mets this season, and he fouls this one off for strike 1.
The point I was making about Sisk, Steve, was that Doug Sisk will get credit for the win. We just checked with the official score, and he has, if McDowell pitches a successful 9th inning. Sisk will get credit for the win, and he doesn't have to be.
That's true. He did allow the go-ahead run to score.
Right.
When the Padres broke the tie in the 6th inning. But the Mets came back with 3 in the bottom half when Doug was still the pitcher of record. Off-speed pitch hit well into right center field, but not well enough. Dykstra hauls it in, 2 away.
You know, the official scorer does have the right to give the win to the most effective reliever, even though in this particular instance, Doug Sisk is the pitcher of record. He will get the win, by the way, if McDowell can get the Padres out. But if McDowell finishes off Templeton here, well, obviously McDowell with 3 strong innings of work would be more effective than Sisk, but Sisk will get credit for the win.
And Roger will get a save, and you can't give a win and a save to the same pitcher.
That's right.
Templeton 2 for 4 with 2 singles on the afternoon, or at least in this second game. He was 1 for 3 in the first game. Then he takes down low. It's ball 2, 2-0. 2 out and nobody on in the 9th inning, and the Mets up by 2. Trying to win their 92nd game and sweep this doubleheader. Three and 0. Of course, if Templeton were to get aboard, the Padres would then bring the tying run to the plate. Marvell Wynn is the on-deck hitter. And ball 4, so Templeton aboard with 2 out. First walk issued by McDowell. 7th by Mets pitchers. And Marvell Wynn, who is 0 for 2, will stand in. Wynn also has a couple of walks to go with the inning-ending force play and a strikeout.
Padres do still have Dane Orge, who had a pinch hit home run in Game 1, available for duty, and also Steve Garvey.
Orge from the left side and Garvey, of course, from the right side. 2 out in the 9th. And it's 2-0 to Marvell Wynn. 6 balls in a row thrown by Roger McDowell. There's Steve Garvey, bat in hand, batting gloves on.
They also serve, will only sit and wait.
Yes, Wesley Staub knows a little about that too. 2-1 to Wynn. And the count now 2-2. So what remains of the 40,000 on their feet now? Urging on Roger McDowell to slam the door. Two and two with 2 out in the 9th inning, and the tying run at the plate. Now 3-2. So Gary Templeton will be off at first base. He has not been held on by Hernandez. Ball 4. Now the tying runs are aboard. Batter Bip Roberts has had a good night. Bip 3 for 4 with a run scored.
Roberts with only 1 home run. And I know in late innings, a lot of outfielders, and we've talked about it a ton of times, Steve, overly conscious about having a ball not hit over their head. But this is one situation where, in my opinion, your left fielder should be very close. And Danny Heap moving over now and in. Roberts not any power the other way.
Another ball. Ball 1 to Roberts.
Especially with that sinker McDowell throws.
Would you pinch hit for Roberts here?
Well,
with 2 out?
If you pinch hit for him, then you've got Orge, and that's it. If he gets on, you got to use Garvey. Maybe Garvey's not ready. Maybe he can't play.
Well, that's true.
That's what I guess you got to.
But if I had them both available, I'd use them both right now.
Well, of course, Roberts is 3 for 4. He doesn't have any long ball punch. But how many times are you going to get a pinch hit home run, especially off McDowell?
Good point. But the tying run is at first. And there's a strike, and it's 2-1. Orge is out on deck to pinch hit as the pitcher is scheduled up next. And a ground ball to the right side. Hernandez with a tough play to McDowell. They can't make it. And here comes the runner for home, Templeton. He's safe. It is now a 1-run ball game at 6-5 New York. On the play, Marvell Wynn holds at second base. And Mel Stottlemyre goes to the bullpen phone.
The 4th hit of the ball game for Bip Roberts. And this is how he got it. Hernandez and McDowell did all they could. It's got to be in one motion. And the ball kind of snow cone in the glove of McDowell. Gary Templeton needlessly coming home with that run. Had McDowell recovered in time and thrown Templeton out at home, it would have been very embarrassing for Gary. Because he is not the tying run. The tying run's out at second now.
That's right. And he did hesitate around third to where he might have been.
That's right.
Thrown out. Well, Dane Orge, who had a pinch hit home run off Dwight Gooden for the only Padre run in the first game, a 7-1 New York victory, will stand in now with the tying run at second base, 2 men on, and 2 out in the 9th inning. George's home run was his 2nd of the year, his first pinch hit home run. And he grounds it to first. Hernandez will take it himself, and the Mets win. The Mets have swept 3 of the 8 doubleheaders they have played this year. They split.
John Morris playing Keith Hernandez to pull there. The defensive alignment showed that they were going to work him in with the fastball and away with the breaking ball.
So Hernandez at first with 1 out for Darryl Strawberry, who is now 0 for 23. Darryl hit a bullet to center that was dropped for an error by Vince Coleman. And Coleman, being a left fielder normally, rarely if ever sees a ball hit at him in that fashion. Not to make excuses for him, he just dropped it. Darryl hits it deep to center field. Coleman back on the track makes the catch, and Hernandez, who had actually rounded second, goes all the way back to first. Keith may not be blessed with great speed, but he is a good base runner.
Agreed, Steve. You're going to see Darryl Strawberry hit a breaking ball. He goes with this ball extremely well. The wind has been real erratic out in center field. Did not carry much in the first game. Seemed to be carrying better in this game. Now watch Darryl from this side, this angle. Ball's going to be a little bit away from him. Watch the hips. That's exploding.
But although Strawberry's hit the ball well, he is 0 for his last 24 now. And here's Mookie Wilson to pinch hit for Danny Heap. Mookie started in center field in the first game and was 1 for 5 with a single to start the ball game for the Mets. And he fouls the first pitch back for strike 1.
As a pinch hitter, Mookie Wilson has done an excellent job with 7 hits and 18 at bats. He's driven in 3 runs. Has been used more to lead off an inning than in situations to drive in runs, and has done one fine job getting on base when he's been called upon.
Boy, he has. 1-1 to Mookie. What a job by Danny Heap today. Danny getting his 39th start of the year with a 2-run home run and an RBI double in 3 at-bats. And as a starter, Heap has really produced. Big cut by Wilson, and the count 1-2.
And he could not have done it at a more opportune time for the slumping New York Mets. I don't think you can say anything other than that.
That's true.
In the last 14 games, or the last 7 games the Mets have played prior to this one, they've only scored 14 runs, an average of about 2 runs a game, which is way below the average of about 5 runs a game that they were averaging for most of the season.
Well, that's where the slump has come, is at the plate. It does not come from the pitching staff, as the pitchers have kept the Mets in most of the games. Good play by LaValliere on a ball in the dirt, and the count now full to Mookie Wilson.
Like picking cherries. Just stuck that glove out there and snapped it. This is just a good quick reaction. This is a tough ball to pick up. That's just good hands.
3-2. Hernandez running, and it's ball 4. So the first walk issued by Horton puts runners at first and second for New York with 1 out here in the 7th. The Mets leading at 6-2. And you know, Rusty, even though that the Mets have slumped as Ray Knight prepares his bat in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Howard Johnson, to keep things in perspective in the bigger picture of things, the Mets have still, after losing 4 in a row, won 30 of their last 50 ball games and 51 of the last 81. So yeah, they've lost 4 in a row, and yes, it's been a tough 2 weeks for them, but still they're having an outstanding season. And of course the lead right now is 16 games over Montreal.
Well, I think if anything stands as a tribute is that you go through a period of time of 2 weeks where you're not playing well, and you still have a 16-game lead.
That's right.
I mean, that speaks for itself. We said in the first game that there's no club in the history of baseball that I know of that went through a whole season without having some type of a team batting slump.
And the Mets are having it now. Ray Knight played third base in the first game and was 1 for 3.
Ray Soft warming up in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. Ray's had 1 hit in 3 at-bats as a pinch hitter.
Ray Ray Knight, that is, not Ray Soff.
Correct.
Soff also appeared in the first game briefly. First and second with one out for New York. And Knight pinch hitting for Howard Johnson. And Ray with a bullet to left. Ford on the run. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. And now he's going to get a double play as Hernandez is all the way around third base and could do nothing about it. Just when we were talking about the good base runner that Hernandez is, he gets caught in between.
Well, I'll tell you what, in this kind of a situation, there's no use getting caught too much in between. He thinks he's going to get a hit on this ball. Ford makes an outstanding play. He does catch this ball. If you're going to be halfway, you're not going to be the right way. You're either going to go or you're not going to go. And Keith was all the way around third base, is going to score on the ball. And I don't think you can fault his base running that much.
Not with a 4-run lead at this point in the ball game, that's for sure. So it's 6-2 Mets after 7, and we're back after this for the good old Skies.
Every 3 years, I steal a new Olds. Yeah. I wait till my dealer has to make room for next year's cars. Oh, he's loaded with Delta 88s. Now I pounce. Say, Jack.
Hello, Sam.
You sure are loaded with 88s.
Factory shipped them late.
Would you take this much for that, baby?
You waited me out again, Sam.
Get a Delta 88 or any 86 Olds for a special cleanup price.
Sam strikes again.
From your good old guy. Who says you can't have it all? Who says you can't be buttoned up and down to earth underneath it all?
Who says you can't have super premium taste and a less filling beer?
Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Have it all.
In the U.S. Senate, New York State needs bold action and results for people. John Dyson gets results for people. As Commerce Commissioner, Dyson helped workers by saving companies and creating jobs. He protected consumers from false labels on fake foods. And his I Love New York campaign increased tourism and pride for all New Yorkers.
John Dyson is a fighter for New York.
Dyson for Senate, determined to make New York State #1 and doing it.
Mookie Wilson remains in the game after pinch hitting and stays in left field. And Ray Knight goes to third base after pinch hitting for Howard Johnson. Ray robbed of a base hit and an RBI on a great catch by Curt Ford to end the inning that turned out to be a double play. And as we go to the 8th, Jose Oquendo leads it off. He'll be followed by pinch hitter Andy Van Slyke. And Oquendo, first ball hitting, grounds one to Backman. Wally throws him out, one away. The last 4 Cardinal batters have swung at the first pitch and made an out.
And you can bet that Roger McDowell and the whole Met pitching staff is appreciative, because there have been a lot of pitches thrown in his 6-game series.
That is correct. That's what you call second game of a doubleheader swings.
Number 18, Andy.
And here's Andy Van Slyke pinch hitting now for the pitcher. He's hitting, as you see, 260 on the year. Doesn't have a lot of opportunities to pinch hit.
Well, he's had 7 so far this year. He's had 1 hit, but he has been hot of late.
So Ricky Horton pitches 2 innings in relief of Danny Cox. Gives up a run, a home run actually, and a couple of hits. Roger McDowell working in relief of Randy Neiman, and it's inside, ball 2, 2-0.
Van Slyke with 3 hits in the first game, the game-winning RBI, 2 doubles and a single.
Sinker outside and low, so it's 3-0 to Van Slyke.
In this situation, Roger McDowell has to forget about the corners and throw the ball right down the middle. The next 3 pitches, just throw a strike.
And he did. Mets up by 4, and with nobody on base here in the 8th inning, you can let him hit it. And he did. Base hit into right center field. Dykstra over to cut it off to hold Van Slyke to a single with 1 out in the 8th inning.
The next batter.
Coming this Saturday night at 9 o'clock, a boxing heavyweight doubleheader with Mike Weaver against Razor Ruddock, followed at 10 by the main event, Bone Crusher Smith in a power punch bout with David Bay. And if you want to read that one, folks, you can come up here and do it.
Like I said, we don't write them, we just read them.
They should have given us a couple of days to prep that one.
Sprung that one on you in a hurry. Power-packed punch something. Coleman taps to Hernandez. No chance for the double play, as the ball was a high chopper, and Van Slyke runs very well. But Coleman retired for the second out of the inning, with Van Slyke moving down to second.
You think that one was a setup, Steve? You think they hemmed that one intentionally?
I don't know. Alexander Solman, our AD in the booth,
is smiling heavily.
We'll have to discuss that with Alex after the game. Terry Pendleton, the batter, he is 0 for 3, has hit the ball on the ground all 3 times. Grounded to short, grounded to second, and grounded into a double play in the 6th inning on an outstanding play by Wally Backman. Short hopped it, got it to Santana, who threw it over to Hernandez. Get a couple of outs. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Certainly one of the biggest plays of the game so far for the New York Mets.
At the time, Cardinals had 2 runners aboard, as Ray Burris will apparently be the next pitcher for the Cardinals, as the clouds are rolling in again. And shortly, the Mets will be chartering it to Los Angeles through those clouds. Ray Knight will take care of this one, and the inning is over. McDowell gives up a hit to Van Slyke, but it's 3 ground balls to no one's surprise. And we will go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Mets still up by 4, 6-2 over the Cardinals after this for Sunoco.
It doesn't come from Amoco or Exxon or Mobil. At 93.5, it's the highest octane of all major premiums. No other gasoline under the sun can help your engine deliver more power. It's Ultra, and it only comes from Sunoco. It's Sunoco 93.5 Ultra, the highest octane under the sun.
Yes, ma'am, I want to look at the sleeve.
Hello, girls. Listen, I need another limousine. Where's the yellow pages? Mama, have you seen the yellow pages? Gina, where's the yellow pages?
I don't know, Pop.
One book is in more homes, helping people find more goods and services. The official directory of New York Telephone. The 9X Yellow Pages. It's always there when you need it.
At Meineke Discount Mufflers,
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
you're not going to pay a lot because Meineke's muffler prices range from $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Who says you can't have old world taste and a new world waste? Old world aging and the new world's youthful spirit. Europe's finest hops in America's finest light beer. Michelob Light. Old world quality from Anheuser-Busch. Michelob Light. The best of both worlds.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can have it all.
Number 35.
And a week from tonight at 8 o'clock, Channel 9 takes a hard look at America's deadliest plague, driving while drunk, the deadliest weapon in America. And it certainly is.
Well, Ray Burris is the new pitcher for the Cardinals, the 3rd of this 2nd game used by Whitey Herzog.
You see, Ray Burris has been in 20 games, has a 4.5 record, a 5.4 earned run average, no saves, walked 30, struck out 32, given up 89 hits in 79 1/3 innings, and has been used both as a starter and a reliever by Whitey Herzog.
And the long ball has really been Burris's downfall. In 79 1/3 innings, he has given up 12 dingers. John Gibbons, Rafael Santana, and Roger McDowell scheduled to face Ray Burris here in the 8th inning, with the Mets leading the Cardinals 6-2. St. Louis won the first of this doubleheader 2-1 to hand the Mets their 4th loss in a row. Ricky Horton goes 2 innings, gives up a run on 2 hits, a home run. He did not strike out a batter and walked one. Gibbons takes the ball low and away. John's 0 for 2 plus a walk. He walked and scored in the third, and then he has struck out his last 2 times up, all at bats against starter Danny Cox. And a drive into left center field, and it's by everybody. Van Slyke finally runs it down, and Gibbons has his first major league hit of the year, a double.
Well, that's a very big hit for John. John Gibbons gets a fastball that comes right back over the plate, hammers in the left center. As I said, it could not come at a better time when John knows he's going to have an opportunity to come in and, during Gary Carter's disablement, have an opportunity to play a little bit. It's always good to get that first hit. I don't care what anybody says, whether it's day 1 of the season or if you come up like he did. That first hit's a big hit.
That just gets everything taken care of, and then you can get down to business. So Gibbons at second with nobody out for Santana, who is 1 for 3, having singled in the third. And the fastball over the outside corner for strike 1.
You know, they talk about pitchers and quality starts. The Angels' Mike Witt has gone 7 innings, 23 out of the 24 times he started this year.
Strike 2 to Santana.
That's incredible.
That quality start stat, though, is a little shaky, I think. Because if you give up 3 runs in 6 innings, which is the criteria they use, you got a pretty high ERA.
Well, I think when you bring your team as a starter past the 7th inning, you're doing a pretty good. You're doing a pretty good act most of the time.
Well, that's true. That's true. 1 and 2 now to Santana. Jay Horwitz informs us that not only was that Gibbons' first hit of 86, it's his first major league extra base hit. And Ray Burris, who probably goes through more caps and undershirts than anybody in the big leagues right now, has thrown to 1 hitter. This is his second batter, and he's already
dripping,
sweating something akin to Niagara Falls.
He reminds you a lot of Bibby.
Jim Bibby, probably #1 on the all-time perspiration list.
He had to be.
He'd wear 3 caps out in a ball game.
He pitched a game in Montreal when, I'm telling you, it was cold, folks, cold. And in the first inning, water was dripping off the bill of his cap. I couldn't believe it.
Did you play with him at Texas at all?
No, I did not. I never did play with him. I've only played against him. I mean, can you imagine him pitching in that 100-degree heat in Texas?
Oh. I saw him pitch in the minor leagues in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Boy. Just did get a piece of it, did Santana, and the count remains 3 and 2. Well, Burris has got to be #1 among active players right now.
Well, Rafael Santana wanting to get a piece of this ball. Man on second, nobody out. He can no longer try to force the ball to the second base side to try to get that runner to third, but he will try to make some contact.
Outside for ball 4. No contact needed, and Santana walks. Runners at first and second with nobody out, and Roger McDowell will be the hitter.
It'll be interesting to see if they pull the rotation play here. They had a little trouble with their signs the other day. Whitey Herzog coming out to the mound, going over the signs, and then they ran the rotation play. What the pitcher has to do here is really key off the shortstop. If he watches the shortstop, if the shortstop breaks to third base, the rotation play is on.